This is Run the Numbers. My name is Jason, and I am on the go today because this video is part of our warm-up series. So yes, I'm in motion on the sunny streets of Los Angeles, California, where this video is part of our 100 videos challenge. That's a challenge I've made for myself to put 100 videos out there into the world, published onto YouTube, and to do that in 100 days. So quite the challenge. It's all an effort to make sure I have plenty of content here on YouTube so that you can benefit and enjoy this content and have it help you on your personal finance journey. All right, today we're going to continue talking about side hustles. It's been this thread of videos that I've done recently that I think people have enjoyed, and people want to know more and more examples. So again, I feel like this is kind of a fun way for me to think through some years ago examples of side hustles that I've done, and I can kind of do something of a story time with Jason, kind of some of my memories become a blast from the past, where I tell you a little bit of some of the fun and enjoyable side hustles I've done as a way to put a little bit of change in my pocket, a little bit of some coin in my pocket, and kind of what I was going through, thinking to take on the side hustle and why I was doing it and the goals and all these different things. So today's example is kind of an interesting one that might appeal to you in some form or fashion on how you could think of doing this or something similar to it, and that I was an event host. And what I mean by that, an event host, I was very active in doing various, community service and doing various volunteer roles at a local community center back in the Bay Area where I lived at the time many years ago. And so, I knew the space, the actual, the rooms and what they had in the rooms, and I knew basically, the facilities that and what kind of offerings were there. And so I had the sort of domain knowledge, and thereby I was a resource for this community center for when they would want to rent out the space. They would have various different parties of different forms, various different rentals, and what they would need is they would need someone there at the facilities at the time of a rental to basically help out if there was any needs, and basically help for, let me give an example of, like, say they at a particular event misjudged the attendance for that event, and they needed additional seating. So they needed someone to come and open up the side room that would have many additional, I'm gonna pause for this loud, in LA, man, they've got the loudest garbage trucks that go by. But okay, so getting back on track, a particular event might need someone to come help and basically, open up a side room, provide that could open up so that they could grab out more extra chairs for more seating for their event, because they misjudged how many people would attend that. It's something like that. It's just a typical something where it could be useful to have someone there. So they would hire someone, and again, I filled this role as a side hustle. So you could kind of start to think, what might be a way that this could apply to you, and think through a similar something. And now I could say, of course this, wasn't all that glamorous. I kind of told someone I would talk about this, and they're like, wow, that's one of the more, unsexy, one of the more boring, and just, not a job to go brag about. But I'm saying it here and now because, what it did offer, of course, other than some additional income, I would get paid from the community center itself. I would get a nice little tip, usually from the event. coordinators, all these sort of things. So yeah, I got a little, like I said, some coin in my pocket. But the main thing of why I wanted to do this was, I had to help a little bit with welcoming in the event to start and do a little bit of breakdown at the end. So maybe a bit like 15 minutes to give it a start, 15 minutes to end it up. But there would be a good like 2 hours, sometimes even some very long events, even 3 hours, where, I basically had to stick around and I was on the clock getting paid, but, I could basically do my own thing. So I would bring in my computer and I could, do various kind of other additional work for other things. So I might do, I think I had it for this amount of time in my life, I was working on a startup, so I would do like competitive research for the competitive landscape of the startup I was working on. I could do some sort of brainstorming and put together a strategy for a go-to-market approach that I was working on. I could kind of like knock out other additional work while I was doing, and basically double dipping while I was doing the event hosting. And so I loved that element. As you might tell from previous videos that I've done, I'm a very big proponent of, maybe optimizing, you could say double dipping, where, you're kind of doing one particular job and you're doing it well, and you're not providing anything of a car had to really rev up as it drove by. But I'm mentioning here that you're doing the job that you need to do, and you're doing it well. So of course, don't ever double dip in a way that you're providing bad or poor service. But I like this element of you basically get to do one job kind of while and overlapping while doing another. So that definitely was solved in this situation here. That was the case in this situation here. Yeah, that's kind of the story I want to share with you today. I was an event host. I had it as a side hustle. I took it on so I could do this element of double dipping, use my time in kind of more than one form and fashion, and kind of get paid while the majority of my time could kind of be focused on kind of other business. And that worked out great. Again, I had a blast doing it. Everybody, was a winner in this. The events were happy. The event space, that's to say the community center, very happy with everything. And I was happy. Again, I was going to be using this time anyways to put together my to-do list for all the things I would have to do for the week, for the coming week. I could do that on a Sunday afternoon, Sunday night that these particular events might be held, that sort of thing, just to kind of round that out. Okay, so hopefully this kind of thing was helpful to you, and yet you've heard yet another one of my examples. Again, something of story time with Jason, and that hopefully can spur. Oh, I wonder if there's something around that I could do similar. And if it is something that is inspiring, and it could be a side hustle that could help you out, that would be ideal, because my hope is that you're enjoying all this content, you're liking all these examples of side hustles, and you can kind of cherry pick some of the particular ways that I go about it that you could emulate, and all these things hopefully are helpful. And if not, at least they're just entertaining, of just like, oh, here's like an interesting thing that this guy did at one point in his life, and he did it in an interesting way. And yeah, so for that alone, hopefully it's just entertaining. But the goal is for you to maybe get inspired so that a side hustle of yours can come together, or at least you could contemplate doing that. All right, I'm gonna leave you here after telling you about this event hosting side hustle and having entertained you. So gotta run.